So I had this whole quirky idea where I was going to do my intro in sign language, but I totally forgot to practice sign language over the weekend, so I'm just going to have to talk it out this time.
Shut up! Shut the fuck up, bitch!
Hello, welcome back to Ricky's Rant, Rave, and Review. It's been 2 weeks since I last did this, but I'm back with a movie off my top 10 list, which is A Quiet Place, which I mentioned on the last video that I did. And I've got some good things to say, got some bad things to say, and then I'm going to give you guys my review, because the title of this is Rant, Rave, and Review. And I totally just did not script this out at all, but So for the rave part of this video, I have only like 2 things that I found wrong coming out of this movie. Well, not wrong, but 2 things that just kind of sat with me as not the best in this otherwise amazing movie. But the first thing is that it's predictable, which isn't bad, but sometimes you just go into a movie and you're like, okay, I know what's about to happen next. And sometimes it just kind of take you out of it. But otherwise, the movie does a very good job of keeping you in the suspense and the tension. And so it's just a little predictable at certain parts, lighting. There we go. So once you hit where shit hits the fan in the movie, you can kind of tell how it's going to go, what's happening to which characters, and et cetera, et cetera. Although the way that I'll say that for the rant. The rave. And so that was my main complaint, is that was just kind of predictable. You've got the mom character who's brave, you got the dad character who would do anything for his kids, you've got the 2 kids who are headstrong and brave, you got the oldest kid who's obviously the bravest but is struggling with some shit that happened in her past, you got the youngest kid who's obviously the youngest kid who's scared and needs protection, which isn't bad. All the actors do play their roles very well, but as horror movies go, it does kind of stay inside that, ooh, you know what's about to happen at what parts. And my second rant is a little bit of just a nitpick or something that just sits kind of with me, is that the monsters in this, their look isn't really the most original, which I kind of hate saying that because I know this movie wasn't made with $1 billion budget, so, they do have to kind of compromise sometimes. But the CGI does look pretty slick, I will say that. But the monsters just kind of look like the Demogorgon mashed up with the Cloverfield monster mashed up with the Demodogs. And it's a pretty standard movie TV monster that you would see in any of the monster movies from the past 7-8 years. If you've seen Cloverfield and Stranger Things, you've seen the monster in this movie. It doesn't have a very original look. It works for this movie. Like I said, it's a pretty straightforward monster movie, so obviously the tension's more in what's happening and less about what the thing looks like. But when you get to the big reveal of what the monster actually looks like, when you see it for the first time, you're just kind of oh, okay. I wasn't disappointed, but I was just kind of it works. Not the best design, but it does its job of being a scary monster. And now to the rave. What did I like about this movie? Pretty much everything else. It's a solid little straightforward monster horror flick, just like I said in the beginning. The acting's great, the writing's pretty straightforward, but it does its job. Like I said, the monsters do their job. They don't look the best, but they do their job of being huge fucking monsters that you should be scared of. And I think my favorite thing coming away from this is that almost the entire thing is in American Sign Language. I don't know that much sign language. I used to study it, but I don't because I just fell out of practice. But it was really nice to see something that represents sign language and deaf people, because the daughter, played by Millicent Simmons, is actually a deaf actress. And so all of her lines are in sign language. Just about everyone else's lines are in sign language. There's only actually maybe 2 minutes tops of actual talking and dialogue. And it was just really nice and refreshing to see that, because it's not something that you get to see a whole lot in movies or television. And so I walked away thinking, nice job, John Krasinski. I don't know how to say his name. I feel bad. It's fine. Another thing I liked about this is the directing. This was a stellar directorial debut from John Krasinski. I think I said it right that time. I was Googling his name all weekend to make sure I said it right, and I'm still pretty sure I said it wrong. But anyway, this is a really great directorial debut. It's up there. I don't want to say it's up there with Get Out, but in terms of funny guy turned serious horror director, he's up there with Jordan Peele, as in surprising me and how well he did in a directorial debut for a guy who's known for, being funny. But the direction's pretty darn slick. There were some shots where I was wow, that looks actually pretty amazing. I would have expected this from somebody. With some of the shots in this, I would have expected from Andy Muschietti, who directed Mama and the 2017 version of It. And it was a nice movie to look at. Can't tell a lie. It looked really slick. Another thing that makes this movie just great is the sound design. Oh my god. It's just, it really puts you in to some of the scenes. And I don't want to spoil anything because if I talk about the sound design too much, it might like give away certain scenes, or not like certain scenes, but like it'll take away some of the tension, because if I say it, then you're going to be looking for it instead of being able to like get into the movie, recognize what they're doing with the sound design in certain scenes and be like, oh wow, that's actually really great lighting, please. So that was probably my favorite bit about the movie, was the sound design and the fact that they have an actual actress. It's almost entirely in sign language, which made me come home and realize, wow, I really need to brush up my sign language. I haven't studied in like a year and a half. I need to get on that. But yeah, this is a pretty solid film. Great directorial debut from John Krasinski. Emily Blunt's really great in this too. If there was a second title for this movie, it would be Emily Blunt in a Terrible, Horrible, No Good, Very Bad Day. She really goes through some shit in this movie. Just throwing it out there, not a spoiler, but like as you see from the trailers, she is 100% pregnant. You can already tell how that's gonna go in an apocalypse where monsters operate on sound and there's a newborn baby around. So, you know, just throwing that out there. This is a short review, but you know, overall, I did like this movie. I would give it 4.5 out of 5, but I only didn't give it a full 5 because the whole thing with like predictability, and I'm like, that can take some people out of it sometimes. And so I can understand if you didn't like that, if you didn't like this movie because of that. But overall, if you're a horror movie fan, if you just like straightforward monster movies, if you just want to see something fun this weekend, go check out A Quiet Place. It's still in theaters. It came out last Friday. It's really short. It's only maybe like 95 minutes, maybe 100. I don't know. I didn't check my ticket to see, but solid little movie. 4.5 out of 5. Go check it out. You'll have a good time. Warning for jump scares, but that's about it. And maybe like a childbirth scene if that freaks you out, but pretty solid movie. Go check it out. You'll enjoy it.